one of the top players in the entire country, Blue. I'm not sure where you have him ranked. He's an out-of-state kid. 5-star edge rusher Dylan Stewart, okay? He actually said this week, I was reading these comments this morning, that the two teams in the best position right now in his recruitment are South Carolina and Miami. It sounds like the Gamecocks might have an edge right now, but obviously before all the official visits, there's plenty of time for that to get sorted out. Miami's in striking range here for one of the best players, one of the best edge rushers in the entire country, Blue. So Dylan Stewart, he's from the Washington, D.C. area. How good is he in your opinion, and where do you think Miami stands with him?
Yeah, very solid. 6'5", about 235, 240 type of kid. Went to Friendship Collegiate Academy, as you mentioned, in the D.C. area. Comes off the ball, has great explosion, quick guy, long arms. Somebody who could be an asset right away. And especially coming in and having an opportunity to work with Coach Jason Taylor. Which is a huge plus. And we've said this over and over again. He's just not a figurehead. He just doesn't hang out. The man's recruiting, and you get a guy like that. And obviously, you take a look at somebody like a Dylan Stewart, and this is a guy who, it's not just Miami and it's not just South Carolina that have been on him, but Georgia was on him from the beginning. And obviously when you have a championship pedigree team like Alabama and Ohio State, you got somebody special. I think I think that somebody that could probably sway him over would be a Jason Taylor. Can you imagine what his family, who, I'm sure has watched Jason Taylor play, you have the opportunity to not only be around somebody who knows the game and is a Hall of Famer, but somebody who is rolling up his sleeves and coaching as hard as anybody. And I think that could win it over right there.
And for Dylan Stewart, his official visit to Miami is going to be that loaded weekend of June 9th, which is just 5 stars and 4 stars all over campus that weekend. So he's going to be part of that weekend. And, Blue, we mentioned Dylan Stewart from Washington, D.C. area. And if you look through all the players visiting Miami this month, there's a lot of guys from, the Northeast, a lot of kids from Georgia, kids from Texas, kids from Southern California, like Aiden Breland. You've got, kids from IMG Academy, who, of course, are from all over the country. You don't see as many South Floridians as you might expect in looking at that list. Is this the most national you've seen Miami's recruiting in a long time when it comes to how wide of a net around the country they're casting? And if they rely maybe a little bit less on Dayton Broward than usual, is that a good thing, a bad thing? How do you see that playing out?
I think that's a lot of the fans complaining because you go back to when Miami was successful, and you can go back a long, long way into the 80s. They had a real good mix. I mean, let's be honest and understand that Hall of Famers like Steve Hutchinson and Hall of Famers like Marvin Jones and players like that, they used to get away, and people didn't make a whole lot about it because Miami. And to answer your question, if you remember when you were at the University of Miami, they had kids from Chicago. They had kids from New Jersey. You look at Daniel Stubbs and you look at, Gino Torretta and guys like that. Miami's always been a pretty good national recruiting hotbed, Vinny Testaverde. And then you look at, like Rusty Medeiros and the Texas kids they have with Pegues and, going out to California, get DJ Williams and, on and on and on. So they've always been a program that kind of mixed things up. And I think that things haven't really changed. I mean, they got their core of South Florida kids. This recent class, look how many they produced. You had, the two brothers in Washington. You had Ray. You had an opportunity, to land a lot of good kids like Ruben Bain. So you can only get what you can get. There's no need for Miami to take every quote unquote 5-star from South Florida when you could get them from all over the country. And that's what they've done. You look at their roster, and I was looking at it the other day. There's a lot of kids that aren't from here that are very productive. And yeah, you have some, guys that are from the state of Florida, but they've done well nationally. And now, because of the fact that you have Mario Cristobal and a couple of his coaches who were at Oregon, you have a situation where they were used to those areas. So now they have some, flags planted in the West Coast in California, Nevada, and Arizona, and Oregon, and Washington, where they could always be in the hunt because they all remember it's only been 2 years.